Welcome to Google Sheets with Mr. Brazil. I'm going to teach you how to plot the pasta lab. So let's get started. First of all, type in the headings for column A, the number of drops, which is the time that the pasta is dropped each time, and then the number of pasta for the parent, and then the pasta that you removed in column C. And then in column D, please type in this heading for the daughter product. And why don't you pause the video, input your data, type in the headings, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about column D. So why don't you pause the video and get to work on that. Welcome back. Now let's take a look at column D. Column D is the daughter product. That's what's left over after the parent decays into the other product or radioactive particular isotope. So let's go. In this case, we're going to do a math equation. So we're going to type in equals into D3. And notice that the equals shows up where the fx. So that's telling Google Sheets we need a function. We're going to do a math problem. I'm going to click D2. So what we're going to do, or you can type in D2, we're going to add D2 to C. Oops, I skipped a step. Let's click D2 again. I'm going to type in plus because I want to add. That's what I mentioned before. So I want to add C3 to it. You can either click it or type it. Then hit enter, and you'll notice that it added the two columns. Well, you could type this over and over if you want, but it's much easier to do this. Check it out. Click back into D3. And notice the little square right in the lower right-hand corner. Well, notice that the mouse is an arrow, but as you move the mouse over the corner, it turns into a plus sign or like a little target. Move it over and hold the left mouse key and drag down. And what that will do, it'll do the math for each column. Check it out. Just click D4, and you'll notice that D3 plus C4. You can go right next to the next one, D4 plus C5, and it just cycles on downward. Okay, so now we're ready to plot. I'm going to click A1, leave my blue highlight box on that far end, and now to graph. What you do is you move to the right side of the menu bar, and there's a little graph-like chart. It literally says insert chart. So let's click it. And Google will provide you a graph with a ton of information. Well, we need to remove some of this. Normally we want a scatter plot, but this line graph looks like it's going to give us information. But we need to do some work to this graph. So let's start. First of all, let's determine that the x-axis is the x-axis. That's the number of drops, the A column. To do that, go over to the chart editor on the right side. There are 3 dots. Click the dots, go to edit, and now it says select range. Well, it's A1 through A22. Sure enough, that's our data. That's what we want. A1 colon, that's through A22. Let's click OK. So now let's go to series on the chart editor on the right side. And it says number of pasta remaining. Let's confirm that that's the B column. So I'm going to edit. And sure enough, B1 through B22. Hey, did you notice Google is not rejecting any typed data, but it's accepting numbers and typed? Google can figure it out. It's awesome. So I'm going to click now OK. Let's check the our second item to check in the series. And it says the number of pasta removed. And we do need to remove that one. Let's make sure it's the C column just for the sake of doing it and getting practice. Sure enough, it's C1 through C22. We're going to delete that. So just go to the 3 dots, go to remove, and it's gone. Then it looks like, and I'm almost positive, you could look to confirm for yourself. Just go to edit, check that second data in the series in D1 through D22. So that is our daughter product on the graph. And where it crosses, it's going to become really important. But our axes look awful, and our heading, our title is just miserable. So let's fix that. So now We're going to go to the chart editor on the right side, and you're going to click Customize. Go to Chart Axes and Titles. Click the arrow. And then it has vertical axis. Hey, great. It may, for yours, it may show chart title. And let's tackle the chart title. The chart title is this big, long thing, number of pasta remaining. Let's fix it and make it a little different, a little more refined. I'm going to click, I'm going to do a double mouse click to collect the whole thing and delete it. And let's label this chart Pasta Decay. Oops, let's type that proper, decay. Parent to daughter. I'm going to go space. It looks like I misspelled daughter. Well, let's correct that. Now, this is the y-axis versus the x-axis. It's not an ordered pair, so let's put number versus time, and I should probably put number of pasta on that. Let's fix that. So number of pasta, and it looks like my V didn't show up, so let's see. And let's move that S over. There we go. There, it's proper. It's number of pasta versus time. Now we've now titled our graph. Let's now label our x-axis and y-axis. Definitely the x-axis is labeled wrong. It's got number of drops. That is not the x-axis. So click horizontal. It's not number of drops. It's actually time. And the time is in units of drop. So each drop of your pasta is a unit of time. So one drop is 1, or 1 and 2 drops is a unit 2 drop per time, like 2 seconds. It's just not in seconds, it's in drop. Okay, now let's label our y-axis. That will be vertical. And simply label it number of pasta, because that's what's changing. And the graph looks essentially done, but it's not. So if you lose the equation editor or chart editor, don't worry. Just double click on the graph real fast and it'll come right back up. We need to refine that. It'd be nice to know where the pasta crosses, because where the parent and daughter cross, that is the half-life of our pasta lab. So go right back to Customize. We're going to go right to the bottom where there's grid lines. See the very last one, grid lines? So all the way down to grid lines, click it. And let's put some more lines to define so we can sharpen up what we're seeing here. So I'm going to bring the grid lines down. Minor grid line count for the horizontal axes. Well, we're in 5, 10, 15. I wonder if I can make divisions of 4 so that I would have, let me explain, so that I would have like 1 drop, 2 drops if you're looking at the graph right now, 3 drops, 4 drops, 5 drops. So even right now, by looking at this graph, we can see that we have approximately 2.5, 2.6 drops for the half-life. So the half-life of this particular pasta is not the drops, not the 1, 2, 3. It's where the parent and daughter cross. So every 2.5 drops, the parent has, it's the half-life. It halves itself. And you can actually compare this to the number of drops. So maybe we should fix the y-axis a little bit and give that a little more. So let's see, it's mine are based on 100 to 200. Let's see if we can just do 10. So we can have divisions of 10. And sure enough, we can. So now we can kind of measure our pasta and look pasta per pasta, see that we're getting every 2.5 half-lives, more or less at 5, that it should be about nearly half of each other. And we could progressively do an analysis of that. So guess what? You have now graphed with Google Sheets the Pasta Lab. Have fun analyzing your data. Bye.